Okay, we're ready to look at day 5 of algebra. This is called slope subtraction. So we will be taking the information that we have on a graph, the 2 coordinate points, and finding out what the slope is from there. So go ahead and pull out the worksheet that has the graph at the top, and we will start in. Okay, we are looking at this worksheet here, and we're going to be using points on a graph so that we can find the slope. Remember, in coordinate points, it reads x, comma, y. X will come first, y is second. Now we have 2 sets of points, so how do we note which one is x1 and which one is another set of x from x? We're using now x1 and x2 and y1 and y2. So we have 4 steps to complete this equation. Our first one is to assign one set as 1 and the other set as set 2. So here we have the coordinate point 0, -3 and 4, 3. So our first step is to assign a set. Here in the example, our x1 and y1 is 0, -3. So they have assigned this as set 1 and this as set 2. Then we need to substitute the x and y integers into the equation. So our equation is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so you're just taking these and inputting them in the correct spot. So what is y2? Well, y2 is 3. So you would put 3 minus, which one is y1? That's -3. That's why there are parentheses around -3. And then it remains the fraction mark. And then we have x2. Which one is x2? The same one where the y2 is. x2 is 4. So we would write in 4 minus, what is x1? 0. That is where 0 comes from. Okay, so step 3 now is to subtract across. 3 minus -3. We need to keep, change. Keep the first integer as 3. Change the order of operation to plus. Change the integer to plus. Okay, keep, change. Keep the same first, change the second operation to the opposite, and change the third, the integer to the opposite. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Then we need to do the bottom. 4 minus 0. Keep, change. 4, change this to plus. -0, it doesn't matter. Anything plus or minus 0 is going to remain the same. So here we have 6 over 4. Can we reduce that? So step 4 is to reduce our fraction. We can reduce that. Okay, both 6 and 4 are multiples of 2. 2, 4, 6. So how many times does 2 go into 6? 3 times. 2, 4, 6. And how many times does 4 go into 2? 2, 4. So that's how we get 3 over 2, and we cannot reduce that any further. Okay. So let's go down through our example and see if we can do this again. Our equation, our coordinate points are -3, 5, and 0, -1. So we have x1, y1, and x2, y2. So our step 1, assign set 1 and set 2. So set 1 is now going to be -3 and 5, and set 2 is 0, -1. So we need to substitute y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I kept m equals to remind us that we are finding the slope. That's what we are doing here. We're trying to find the slope, and that's why m is still there. So in all of these equations, you'll see the answer read as m equals. Remember, in y equals mx plus b, m is the slope. That's why we are keeping the m. Okay, so then it says subtract across. So we have -1 minus 5. Keep, change. Keep -1, change, subtract to plus. Change your 5 to negative. Okay, so we have -1 plus -5. What's 5? Plus 1, 6, and you just keep the negative sign there. So that is where we get -6. Then subtract the bottom. 0 minus 3. keep the first 0, plus, we're going to change that subtraction to plus, change that integer to positive. So we have 0 plus 3. That leaves us with 3. So our answer here is negative 6 over 3, but we need to reduce according to step 4. What is 6 divided by 3? How many groups of 3 go into 6? That's 2. So we have 2 separate groups, and this reduces to m equals negative 2. Because there is only one negative sign, it remains negative. Okay? Okay, we're going to work through number 1 here, keeping the steps up here on the side so we know our next step. So here we have our first problem, 2, 3, and 0, 9. So our first step is to assign set 1 and set 2. Okay, so set 1 will be 2, 3. Remember, the x comes first, then the y comes. So our set 2 will be 0, 9. So now my second step is to substitute m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so I need to substitute that. I'm going to take y2, so my second set y, which is 9, minus my y1. Okay, so if this is set 1 and this is my y, so I need to subtract 3 over x2, which is 0, minus 2. Okay, so I can subtract. What is 9 minus 3? 9 minus 3 is 6. And 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Okay, can I reduce 6 over negative 2? Yes. 2, 4, 6. How many groups of 2 take to get to 6? 3. Is it negative or positive? Well, how many signs do I have that are negative? 1. That leaves me with a negative. So step 4 reduces to m equals negative 3. Okay, I want you to try number 2, and then we will do number 3 together. Okay, so I'm going to pull up number 3, and we will do that one together. Alright, so step 1 is to assign set 1 and set 2. So if my coordinates are 0, 3, and 4, 2, I'm going to assign set 1 to 0, 3. Set 2 is 4, 2. Okay. My second step is to substitute m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I need to go to set 2 and find my y, and that's 2 minus, and then I need to go to set 1 and find my y, and that's 3. Over x2 minus x1. I go to set 2 and find my x, that's 4. And then I go to set 1 and find my x, and that's 0. Okay? 2 minus 3. That leaves me with negative 1. Over. What's 4 minus 0? Well, if you have 4 and you don't take anything away, you have 4. Okay? Can I reduce that? No. So my answer for number 3 is negative 1 over 4. That means my slope is negative 1 over 4. Okay? Go ahead and do number 4 on your own. That should give you a slope. Assign set 1 and set 2. Substitute your y2 and your y1, and then your x2 and your x1, and then subtract and reduce.